Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, we are going to be creating a ring, just a basic sort of ring that you could potentially 3D print and have. So the first thing you want to do is go into Create, into Onshape, and then go into Create here. Click on Document, and I'm going to name this ring. And from here, I actually looked up some ring conversions, and so I got the diameter here and the circumference. So these are, you would normally see these sizes here, the US ring sizes. So it goes from 0 to 13, and what the millimeter equivalent is over here. So I believe I'm like a 9 or 9.5. So I'll just go with the 9, so the 18.75 millimeter. And obviously it depends what finger you're going to put it on. So if you wanted to make a measure of your finger, what you could do is get a piece of string and wrap it around your finger, and then kind of mark off where it overlaps, and then you could measure that out with a ruler or something. Measure out like that how it goes around your finger. So I'm gonna make mine 18.75 millimeters. So make that note that this is in millimeters. So what we're gonna do to get in the metric systems, we're gonna go up here to the document menu, go into workspace units, and then go under default length, make that millimeters. So now we are in the metric system. From there, I am going to create a sketch. So click on Sketch, and then click on the top plane, so right here, or you can go over and click top plane over there. Either way, it opens a sketch on that top plane. So from here, you can click the N key, or you can go up here and click on top. This is your view cube. You can click on that. I'm just going to hit the N key, and then you're normal to your sketching surface. So you're looking right down on it. So next I'm going to create a circle, so right there, and then the center point is going to be in the origin here. So go over the origin until you get that box, click once, and then bring it out. And this is going to be the first, the ring, the inner diameter. And so I want to dimension this, so hit the D key for dimension, or it's this up here. So there's hotkeys to all these commands, so you'll see, so right next to the word dimension there's a D there. That's the hotkey. So circle actually has a hotkey too, it's C. So once you get used to the functionality of this, the hotkeys are nice because it quickens up everything. So once you have this toggled on, you're going to click on your circle and then click out there somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. And then you're going to look up your size. And again, the size I was going to use is 18.75 millimeters. So 18.75. And then just zoom in, or you can click on that and it kind of brings you in. So that looks good. And now I am going to offset. I'm going to offset this circle with the offset command right here. So O would be the hotkey for that, O. And I'm going to click on this circle, and it kind of defaults to a 5. Um, that's pretty thick, so I'm gonna make it probably 2 millimeters, and that seems a little bit more accurate for a ring. If you're thinking about something that's on your hand, and then click out of here. I might even shorten that a little bit, maybe 1, make it a thinner band. And from there, I am going to extrude and I am going to extrude this up by, sorry, my son is crying. So that is, and again, you can make this as thick as you want, maybe 2. Kind of play around with it, see what. Try to imagine your finger going through the ring, so that you can kind of like estimate how it would be, because the thickness should be about the thickness of your finger, right? So using that as like an approximation, you can go from there. So that looks kind of cool. If you wanted to do something funky, so if we wanted to like make some cuts, or maybe make it not like a straight circle, we could do that. And so how I'm gonna do that is with another sketch. And so click on sketch up here, and then click on the top surface, and then I'm going to create some sort of, I could do straight lines or whatever. I'm just gonna like make some kind of unique shapes around it, and give it some angle, give it some dimension. That looks good. And then so what I'm going to do is actually cut out these areas, and you don't have to do this. This is just kind of what I'm going to do. Oops. And then I need to box this in. So I'm gonna use a corner rectangle to box this in, because I want to cut out the outside. I don't want to cut on the inside, so I'm gonna cut the outside. So I'm gonna click into extrude and click into remove, and I'm gonna see how that looks. That looks pretty cool. So it gives it a little bit of different dimension to it. It's not a perfect circle. Again, if you wanted to keep it a perfect circle, you can, and just delete this, and then it goes back to that perfect circle. So maybe instead of cuts like that, you want to make maybe a cut all the way around it. So let's look at the front, and I'm going to create a sketch on the front plane. So I'm gonna create a sketch on the front plane. Click the front plane, and then click on N for normal to, and zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to create a little box out here. A little box, like tiny little box. And then I'm going to create another tiny little box. And then maybe some sort of angle. But I don't want to go too far in, because then I'm going to be cutting through to the other side. So I don't want to do that. I'm just creating a couple little shapes here. Maybe I'll cut the corner off as well. And I'm not doing any of this by dimension. I'm just having fun making it kind of like organic. So from here, I'm going to do a revolve. So click on revolve. So once you have your shapes kind of lined up, click on revolve. And this revolve is going to be remove. It's going to be a removing revolve. So now I'm going to go up here, click on revolve axis, click on select mate connector, and I'm gonna select the top portion here. So once I have that selected, right, it's gonna go around in a circle, and and these shapes are gonna be cutting the ring out. And check it off, and now let's take a look. So that's kind of cool. Gives it a little different look to it. And if I'm not 100% satisfied with how that's looking, I can double click back into Sketch 2. So this is like a history of all the different things I've done, and you can go in and manipulate the history. So if you want, say, maybe I want more of this edge cut off, and a little bit more of that edge cut off, you can go ahead and do that. So that's pretty neat. All right, so that's cool. So what you can also do is you can make some cuts that kind of go through the entire ring itself. So another thing that you could attempt is so we're going to create how we're going to do this, right, is we're going to create a plane that comes out in front of the ring. So right now, if you look at the top, so our ring is directly in the center of where our planes meet, right in the origin. So what you want to do is get a plane that's in front of the ring. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the plane tool, which is right here. So it kind of looks like a flag, backwards American flag. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on front and offset. And as long as my as long as it is in front of the ring, which it is, and you can do this by arrow keying around what I'm doing with the views. As long as it's in front, that's good. So once it's in front, I'm going to click on the front again, and now I'm going to create a sketch on that plane that I just created. So go click on sketch and then click on that plane. So now I am going to create we'll do a polygon. We'll do some sort of polygon here. And yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is kind of come up here and pick a spot. So maybe I want it a little bit. I'll try one up here. And if you move away from the part, it increases the number of sides. If you move towards the center, it decreases. So I'm just gonna do a triangle, and then I'm gonna right click And now I am going to click on extrude, and I am going to remove. So now I have a triangle that's being removed from my ring. Check it off. Now you can go around and make more planes and do that same thing. But what I'm going to do is kind of create a pattern out of it. So once I have this, I'm going to come up here to circular pattern. Click on circular pattern, and then I'm going to go under here. So click part pattern, and then click on feature pattern. And then I'm going to click on that extrude to. So the axis is going to be, we're going to go back to that make connector. So make connector, and then we're going to hover over that origin and click on origin. And notice how it kind of displays those triangles that are going around, which is pretty cool. So now we can increase this count to, let's try 20. And now we have 20 triangles all going around. So that's kind of neat. And if you didn't want it equal spacing, you can unclick that. But we want it equal spaced. So that'll look cool. Check that off. And yeah, so kind of a cool looking ring. And now you can apply some colors to it. You can color it if you want. So to get rid of the planes, to toggle the planes off, you can just hit P, and that'll get rid of the planes. And then if we don't want to look at this origin anymore, we can click on that eyeball, and it kind of gets rid of it for you. So it looks pretty neat. The offset of the triangle is kind of neat because it's not directly in the center. It's kind of intriguing a little bit. I know that would bug some people. But all right, and now to look at this in a different way, before we change colors, you can actually turn perspective on. So that's kind of a cool way to look, because it's like how the human eye would actually work when looking at an object. So it's kind of neat to look at parts like this, because that's kind of like what your eye would do. Make things look bigger than they are when you're viewing it. And then you can also shaded without edges kind of is a nice look too. So it gives it some shading without the edges. So without those black hard lines. So this looks better in like an artistic sort of setting. You kind of want those hard edges when you're dealing with engineering and that sort of design. But this is kind of nice to look at. So from here, we are going to, if you wanted to color the whole thing one color, you could just right click here on your part and then go to edit appearance, and then you can kind of change it to a silver or to a gold. And what you can do, so these are custom colors, right? So RGB, and then this is the number format for the color. So if you wanted like a gold, you can look it up. So you can look up gold RGB code, and so it gives the hexadecimal, which is FFD 700. So let's try that one. and see if that looks gold. Copy that, paste that. That is very yellow gold. So let's try that again. Kind of like that one a little bit better. So F9A602, F9A602. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. That looks more, a little bit more realistic. So yeah, and then you can actually apply colors to other stuff too. So like this extrude, you can right click there and add appearance to feature, and then you can actually, you can make it black, which looks pretty cool. And then you could maybe you want that revolve to have a silver in there, so you got the two-tone going on. So silver, oh, that's interesting. COCOC. COCOCO. That looks pretty neat. So yeah, there's all sorts of cool things you can do with the color codes and with this 3D modeling software. So if you were, say, if you wanted to make this a logo, right, of some sort, and you had like a name, say you wanted to put like a name on the inside here, you could go and make a block. I'm going to turn off the perspective because that's messing with me. So yeah, turn off perspective. And say we wanted to sketch, bring the planes back. So P to bring the planes back, just click on that plane, that's fine. And then I'm gonna sketch a block. So square. And then I'm gonna extrude this square. And that's way too big, so we will go to 4. How about 2? Alright, that's a little better. And get rid of the planes again. And then sketch. And where is, I don't use text too often. Oh, here it is. Text, and we'll put it right there. And BP ring. And that's giant. So let's redo that. Alphabet. I'll just do something simple, BP. All right. And then let's click and drag. Extrude. To so that's kind of cool. And again, you can mess around with the coloring too. So maybe you want so right click on there, add appearance to face. Maybe we make that black. Kind of give it a that looks pretty neat. Again, like that, it doesn't, you don't have to do what I'm doing. Be creative. Do whatever you want. I'm just showing you several different tricks that you can and tools that you can use. So yeah, so have fun making your ring.